I'm Julie Albright. I am not 8. I am 9, almost 10 years old, and you need to answer for these crimes. And it's like, girl, what?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome back to another episode of American Girl Talk. Happy birthday, Julie. Happy Earth Day, Julie.
Many days to celebrate
And many
for our
new,
sweet gal.
yes, and many new guests, many new people. Meet Alex. This is Alex.
Howdy. Hi, folks. How are y'all?
Alex is a friend of mine through a new friend of the pod, Chelsea, too. We met at Schlitterbahn one fine day.
Yeah, a wet, hot Texan summer outside. We cooled off and became great friends, and I've been very thankful ever
And you-
since, and happy to be here.
And we were in the most, chaotic, lazy river slash, like, non-lazy river whirlpool wave pool.
Situation and survived together and came out stronger for it.
Yeah, the thing I remember most distinctly about that day is people wearing, like, Converse in the pool.
I yeah, even swimming shoes, like, even when you have to, when it's, like, a rocky, like, Barton Springs kinda
Mhm.
day or something like that, I'm like, "Do I have to?" Like, I don't wanna the thought of, like, wet, bound feet is not great to
I
me.
just think
So,
there's nothing, like,
yeah.
more kind of, like, loser looking than swim shoes, like, the way that they are, you know?
None of them are
There's
cool. None of them are
I've
cool.
yet to see a cool pair of swim shoes. Um,
I gotta get in on that.
and
'Cause, yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem to be solved, so others might clearly face the same issue, so hopefully that's, what's going
it's like
on.
Fair First Million is, swim shoes that make you feel make you feel cool.
Isn't that, like, the hardest to make? Don't they say, like, your first million's the hardest to
Yeah, and
make, and
it's
then
definitely because of the swim
the
shoes.
rest just flows in? Perfect. Well, we've got the hardest part figured out, so I feel good about us and our new business
And
venture.
now we can relax and talk about some American Girls. And so, Alex, as I like to ask everyone, what is your connection to the greater American Girl doll catalog?
Yeah, not wildly strong, but as a little boy in the '90s who had an older sister, yeah, I knew about the American Girls, and the American Girl dolls. Now, the thing that always confused me is my older sister's name is Samantha.
Mhm.
So every time I saw the doll that I now know is Molly, I was like, "Oh, that's Samantha," because my sister looks just like Molly to, like, the bangs and the ponytail and the glasses, that's my
Yeah.
sister. So every time I see Molly now, I'm like, "Oh, that's Samantha," and it's always like, "No, that's not Samantha, that's the other one," and I'm like, "Well," so I don't know what Samantha looks like, but that's my confusion, with the American Girl dolls, and there was always a cafe in Dallas, um, but now famously, as a Chicagoan,
Mhm.
I live in that city, and there's an American Girl doll cafe here, so I guess I have to, like, take my niece to that or something.
Do you think you're just moving to hot
But
spots
that's
of American Girl doll cafes?
obviously, and the next one on my list is because I know where the others are. Yeah, for
New
sure.
York
It's a
City?
tour, and I sure, yeah, uh-huh.
Well,
I'll take that, yeah.
to ease you a little bit, I do believe that Samantha and Molly are the most similar looking dolls. They have,
Okay, that's good.
Molly's hair is a slightly mousier brown, and I think she has gray eyes, and
Mhm.
Samantha has, like, a more rich chestnut brown hair and has, like, brown eyes.
Mhm,
That's about it. I think they literally have the
mhm.
exact same face mold. Um, and if you take Molly's braids out, like I've seen on doll collector websites, you'll be like, "Is this a Molly or Samantha? God, I hope it's a Samantha."
That's such a Samantha thing to say.
Like she's very different than that Samantha too, though, unfortunately. She's a buttoned up she's
Hmm.
Gilded Age-esque, the Samantha of our American Girl doll lore.
Okay.
Yeah. She
Maybe I'll have to learn her story.
Yeah, there's a few episodes on it you can check out too. I know you've listened to a few
Perfect.
before with our dear friend,
I
Celia.
have. I have, yes. RIP, may God rest
Yes,
her
our
sweet
Celia
soul.
in heaven. We love her, we miss her. She's here with us in spirit every episode, so far. And then I guess the other question I have for you, which I like to ask, is what is your favorite
Yeah.
historical tragedy?
Yeah, it was newer to me to learn, and since learning about it so, like, it's not the one I was obsessed with as a child, but since learning about it, the Triangle Shirt Fire
Ooh, I
Factory or,
brought that
like,
up last
Factory
episode.
Fire. Yeah, like, them little girls, like, ugh, it's not good, but a lot of rights got from it
Mhm.
or received from it, And also not to give too much of, how this is all made, but the anniversary of that was just a couple days ago of when that fire happened. So RIP to those, uh, child workers.
And teenagers.
Yeah, it was bad. It was, like, horrific. The more I was like, "Oh my god," and, like, all the news reports and, like, yeah, I dug in, I went deep. It's an obsession of mine. I know a
That's
lot about
so
it.
good to know because once I finish the American Girl doll books, there's you may not know about
Mhm.
this, but there's a series of also slightly one age tier above books called Dear America,
Right.
and they are like
Okay.
fake diaries of historical girls. And so they're
Okay.
about like 200 pages instead of like 70. Um,
Yeah.
but there's one whose sister was in the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, and it's like the story
Ugh.
of it's like leads up to that, and so maybe I'll have you on to read that book with me. Yeah, when I lived in New York,
Mhm.
I literally hunted down the spot where it was on the
Yeah.
anniversary and went and, like, looked.
Yeah. It's off of, like, Washington Square Park,
Mhm,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I think I also did the same thing many years ago.
It's a
Yeah, I think I did the same.
it's a pilgrimage. Have
Pilgrimage, a
you
dark
have you
pilgrimage.
also been to the spot in the harbor where the Titanic was supposed to, dock?
No, no, I guess I kind of forget that it was on its way to New York.
Mhm.
I mean, clearly it was, but I don't. Where in New York? East or West Side?
I think it's on ooh, now you're gonna trip me. I think it's on the west side.
Okay.
Or maybe no, maybe I feel like it should be on the east side, actually. Wouldn't that
I'm
make
gonna
more
hold you
sense?
to
That's
that.
right, I feel like unless they're bringing the boat
I
around the
don't know.
harbor, maybe it was on the east side, but there's, like, a
No,
specific
it is bigger on the west. I feel like the river is much wider over there, but I
you might be
I
right,
don't
the East
know.
River is
I don't know
pretty
what
the
was going on.
Hudson versus the East River, I guess. But wherever it
Mhm,
is, it might be on
mhm.
the west side because I feel like I had to yeah, I think it's on the west side, I'm gonna say that now a little bit more confidently because I had to, like, run around, to get to it, and then there's, like, a little placard that's like, "Titanic could have been here.
Is there?
She wasn't,
I
though.
feel like New York has so many of those little placards that are just like, "Oh, and here, big, huge thing." And you're like, "Wait, what? Here?"
Tragedy
Like,
here."
all of a sudden? Yeah. Yeah, ugh,
Well, I think, like, Washington
not
one
great
of
all the
them is,
time.
like, for lack of a better term, like a plague pit, one of the parks, and don't quote me on that, but something like a yellow fever pit or
Perfect.
something like that, you know? Um,
Yeah.
but, because I mean, I know my favorite park in Edinburgh is a plague pit,
Mhm.
and I'm just like,
Ooh.
the Lynx.
And that's the one that bridges the old town and the new town. The, like,
Oh, no, that is a drained lake where
park
they
of
drowned witches.
well,
That's Prince's Park
sometimes.
used to be, like, a lock that was, like, sewage for the city, and, like,
That's the
it was
one.
stinky and gross, and they would, drown witches in it. And then they're like,
Well,
"Stinky
y
and scary, so we're just gonna drown it," and it's a very lovely park now.
huh, well, I'll have to go sometime. I've never been to Edinburgh or Scotland,
We can go
but
together, I'll
it
take
is on my
you.
list for sure.
It's
I
beautiful.
know. There's a statue of a bear who fought in a war,
Yep,
so
in the
I
park,
need to go
in
see
Prince's
that
Park,
in my
yeah,
pilgrimage, yeah.
for the Polish
Yeah,
people.
that's on my list. Yes.
It's all good. So, Alex, you seem like a little bit of a history buff, so we're excited to get into Julie with you. Um,
Yeah, far back history with this Julie character, a
the
time,
groovy
I
70s.
mean, so far away, yeah, who was even alive back then? No one
This
knows.
is the
So,
hardest
I've learned so
I
much.
know. Well, this is the kinda weirdest one because there is so much that we just, like, know and, like, also learned in school that it feels kinda like I'm like, "Oh, this is like" I won't get too ahead of it, but, like, the DDT thing in the first chapter, I was like I literally remember
Mhm.
being like, "And DDT is bad," like, in elementary school and, like, having talks about that. But, yeah, guys, in this book, we get Julie being a woke tree hugger, and it's also her birthday. And so this is technically the happy birthday, comma Julie book, as we like to call them, with a different name. And one thing I thought was interesting is that you usually get a new animal. Like it's weird. The girls like always get an animal as a gift in their birthday books, and then the animal never comes back again. Like they get like a pet lamb, and then like never again do we see said pet lamb or like bird or something like that. And so yeah, Julie basically gets like 3 eagles, I guess, but not really, but for freedom.
Well, it was 4, not to give the spoilers away too early. It turns into 3, and I guess it's beautiful, and we won't talk about
We
the
won't talk
darkness that
about,
was.
Freckles' sister.
R.I.P. in peace.
Um
So okay, so yeah, birthday books. Every American girl has a birthday, sure,
Mhm.
but a birthday book. Is that to connect with each astrological sign? Like, what's going
So
on
they're
in the book
always
series
spring
there?
books. So every like canonically, like almost
Mm,
every American Girl doll is a spring baby. Because basically they have like I guess like there's 6 books and it's like the first one is like a fall book. The second one is also a fall book. It's like late summer and then fall. And
mhm,
then the third one is like a holiday book, like Christmas, so it's winter. And then the fourth one, which is what we're reading, is a spring book. Fifth one is a summer book, and then the other one is like a winter book again, so it skips time a little bit.
mhm,
So it basically
mm,
goes through like a year in the life of the girl and tells her a merchandising opportunity to sell different play sets. So,
sure,
and so if
perfect.
you have a birthday set, you can do a whole big rigmarole for like gifts and do a birthday outfit and a pet and things like that.
Okay,
So that's kind of where that
because
comes
it's all
from.
about the money,
It's all about the
clearly.
money. Our last guest,
Yeah.
my friend Alexis, said this is a really impressive marketing scheme to write all these books just to sell dolls.
And it clearly has worked,
And
yeah.
you know what? We love it. But I will say you got an interesting book, and I think you are a good person for this book because I do feel like you kind of like this type of like legal infrastructure type of thing.
100%. Oh, I was into
I
it.
know.
This book was gripping. It was the shortest read I've had in a very long time. But yeah, no, I was enthralled. My mouth was jaw was dropping to the floor at certain parts. So, like, literally, I was like, "Oh!" No, and then it got deep. Oh, it was good. I'm
Yeah,
excited to get into
we'll get
it.
into it. Yeah, because I mean, I have some thoughts on it too. Because it was a little bit different than other books of the series too. It was
Mhm.
a little bit like more of a PSA. And so I think on that note, we should just like hop right into it. So we
Yeah,
get
let's.
to chapter 1, A Cry in the Park. So Julie calls her friend Ivy and says, "I've got a fever, a spring fever."
Yeah, which is a cheesy joke, and I'm honestly wondering, like, is it who's that for? Are kids like I don't know.
You
I thought it was cheesy, but
do
yeah.
you think
Spring
between 2
fever.
9-year-olds that joke really lands?
Yeah, I don't know. Unclear.
I think, if I ever move to Chicago, I'm gonna call you when I wanna go to a park and tell you I have spring fever and
And I'll know
and I
exactly what
hope
that
you immediately
means.
jump on your bike and we can hop on over to the nearest park because that's what Julie and Ivy do.
For
So Julie and Ivy decide to go to the park and they're biking and they're enjoying this nice spring day and Ivy has money left over for snow cones. So they're just like enjoying a quintessential spring day in San Francisco, you know?
which I guess is sunny. I don't really know much about spring in SF. Obviously, summer's cold, so I'm like, I guess spring is warm. So
I'm guessing it's relative
I'll take
warmth.
Julie's word for it.
You know, like when you should know now in Chicago, probably 60 degrees feels warmer now than it did when you lived in Dallas, you know?
Much warmer now. Yes, 100%.
It's like a 60 here today, and my boyfriend was like, "It's so cold." And I'm like, "It's really not cold. It's just not
Yeah.
hot." He's like, "I'm so sick of this cold weather." And I was like, he's a summer lizard, you know?
Yeah, I hate the heat. I can't stand it. So,
Mm.
okay, yeah, a warm 60 outside and sunny SF in the spring.
It's a warm 60. They're sitting, in the park, and they see butterflies, and when a butterfly lands on Julie. You're kind of a butterfly guy, aren't you?
I do enjoy animals of all kinds, which again is why I enjoyed this book. Yeah, I mean, they're pollinators, they're magical. Love and support my butterflies out there. I've got actually a cool butterfly shirt, which I just remembered that I have that I love. So yeah, I think I'm a butterfly guy.
I just remember one time you asked me if the monarchs had, like, migrated to Austin yet, and I was like, "How powerful." I was like, "I don't know,
I'm
man."
seeing them. I'm thinking about them. Every time I see them, I'm like, they're on their way down, they're on their way up. There's a documentary I saw as a kid. It was impactful. Yeah.
Have you ever been to a, like, butterfly, like, exhibit where you can, like, go into a room?
I have, and while they are enjoyable in the experience, almost more stressful than not, because when you leave, they have all the signage that's like, make sure there's not a butterfly on you
Yeah.
that like will escape or get out. And I'm always afraid that I'm going to squish them in the door, accidentally smuggle one out, and it will like not thrive in the weather that's not climate control. So stressful, but fun
See,
and
I
cool,
had
but
a
stressful, mostly stressful.
I found it mostly stressful because when I went to one once, it was when I really realized that butterflies are just bugs. Um, and they were, like, all
Yeah.
over my dress, and I was like, "Oh god." I was like, "This is kind of I don't really like it as much as I thought I would."
You're like, "Hey, wait a minute. This is just like PR, like bugs with PR,
Yeah,
and
this
I'm
is
actually not into it
they're
anymore."
the bugs with the best PR. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
it was it was just like they just the thing that I think is kind of scary about butterflies is that,
Mhm.
like, they don't, like, shoo away if they don't want to, you know, like, you can't,
Yeah.
like, go like that and they leave. If they wanna stay, they stay, and then you're like, "I think I'm, like, stuck here." Like you say, like, when you're leaving, they're on your clothes. They don't move,
Yeah.
like, as you move, they don't jump up. So, they,
Mhm, mhm.
I bit off a little bit more than I could chew, and now I respect butterflies from a distance.
I mean, and the fact that, what they do is unnatural in that, sure, you're a little caterpillar, but then they turn into, like, mush before they form into a butterfly. It's like a full transformation. I took an entomology class. I still don't fully understand it. They are doing magic in there, so
In
good
their
on them, I
cocoons.
guess. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. They're
Yeah, it's very weird.
they're very scary. I mean, I respect them.
Yeah.
And a butterfly does land on Julie. I think it is what is it? It's a rare mission blue butterfly. Um,
Which sure, great. I love that. We all know what that means, and we're told that they're important, so
yeah, by a
thanks, old
passing
lady with
by
the hat
old
in the
lady in a
park.
straw hat, so you know she's environmental. You know.
Of course. Yeah, yeah. And that's how we know.
She's comes by and she goes, "Ooh, this is so nice. Like, you are so lucky, little girl, for this butterfly lands on you. Bye." And then, Julie and Ivy are like, "Cool. What a great time." They go to eat their snow cones, and they hear some wailing in a bush, a little pathetic
They
hoot hoot,
do.
and they're like,
Yeah,
"What do we do? Let's go check it out."
and they do, and they find a baby owl, of which the entire time I was reading this, I was like, "That's not an owl, that's actually an eagle." I read the title of
That's
the
what I
book.
thought.
I've
That's what
got
I
this
thought too.
whole mystery figured out. Yeah. Turns out, no, I was not smarter, and the author really duped me with that. They find an owl. They just find a baby
I
owl.
literally thought the same thing. I was like, I bet they're gonna bring it in, or I thought they were gonna take it to that woman, and she was gonna be like, "Oh, this isn't an owlet, it's an eaglet." And then turns out it
Yeah,
is just a poisoned owl.
it's just
Uh,
an elf. Yeah. And poisoned. Yeah, the DDT. I learned about this. It's not great. Shouldn't be giving it to bugs. Shouldn't be letting it go up the food chain.
I know. Who knew it was such a vicious cycle? But first they find the owl and they don't know what to do with it. And they do the thing that I would never do, which is like pick it up. Because like,
Yeah.
did you ever learn that if you like touch a baby animal, that its mother will never come back?
Yeah, yeah, and was that just like old wives' tales? Did people just not want us touching animals?
I think it's a little column A, little column B. I
Okay,
think there are
okay.
some species that, like, you should just leave alone, but I don't think, like, your scent necessarily would cause the mother to abandon the baby. I think they just don't want kids, like, picking up, like, baby animals and carrying them around.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Someone can check me on that, but they pick up
Yeah,
the
please do.
baby. They pick up the baby,
Like both of us.
they ask the other lady, what they should do, and she tells them that the museum down the street has a, like, rare birds conservation thing, luckily for them. So Julie, like,
Mhm.
puts the baby owl in her basket of her thing on a sweatshirt and bikes over there, and I have to tell you, I'd be terrified to do that.
Yeah, yeah, the stress, the absolute stress. I mean, first of all, like little mini ET in the basket, but like the absolute stress of not wanting to crash and the baby bird, I'd be entirely too stressful. I would need to walk.
I would think, like, intrusive thought that the baby bird would hop out and then my wheel would crush it.
No, I don't want that to happen to the baby bird. Also, where's the bird's mom? They like kind of talked about it. They were like, baby bird must have just like fallen out of a tree. I was like, well, her mom needs to do something about, or her dad, but like, let's get this going. But that just never comes back into play.
That's why Julie feels related to the owl, though, because if you notice, Julie's parents are barely in this book also.
Yeah, I have thoughts about
Oh, there
that.
we all have thoughts about Julie's parents. But she takes the baby owl to, the Randall Museum, and this is actually guys, the weird thing about this book is the first, like, 3 chapters are, like, 2 pages. Because
I didn't know that wasn't the norm. I was like, all right,
no,
yeah,
they're
let's
usually
keep this
longer. I
party
was like
going.
this was like a short book and the chapters were short, but there were 6 chapters, which there usually are, but they're usually like 5 or 6 pages. This one was like bam, bam, bam. I was kinda like, "What are we doing
It's
here?"
kind of thrown into it.
Yeah, this was mise en scène. But, we're in chapter 2, Feathered Friends. So, we're at the museum now, and Julie runs into a volunteer teenager named Robin, which I was like, "Come on."
A little too on the nose for you. Of which everyone introduces themselves in this story, first name, last name. Like, it happens multiple times. She's like, "Hi, I'm Robin Young." It's like, first of all, didn't ask, but okay. Like, I don't know. I'm not walking up to people, "Hi, I'm first name, last name." A little unnatural. Uh, it was odd. It was odd.
Um, this is some lore, guys, from Alex and I, but did you picture her to look like a young Robin Brown?
You know, with the, like, hiking boots and the sweatshirt and the shirt, yeah, I kind of did, to be honest. I'm like,
Guys,
that's yeah.
as a small aside as to why Alex is a dear friend of mine, one of my, side, obsessions besides, the American Girl books is the show Sister Wives on TLC, which has over, I think, like like 20 seasons. Um,
And you haven't convinced anyone here to watch all of them before?
and
No,
I
that
have
hasn't happened.
I have never been able to convince a friend to watch all 20 seasons so I could talk about it with them until Alex.
And I did it willingly, and it was so good, and it was an almost year-long journey we were on together because even though you have seen them all, you resaw them through my eyes as I would text you every
Oh,
single
it was
night
delicious.
when my husband would go to sleep, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, this is happening," and yeah. No, so yeah, Robin Brown, I mean, not I don't know. It was yeah, the hiking she's not really a hiker or no even though she likes to four-wheel all the situations. Yeah, it's yeah, it she spoke Robin in the book spoke like a Wikipedia page, which I thought was just kind of up this was written in what, '07? Is that
Yes.
right? I feel like, yeah, the author was just like, I don't know, birds, like, let me go Wikipedia page and like and the birds are perfect, and it would just I don't know, she spoke kind of robotic, which if we're talking about sister wives, canned answers, Robin Brown, hot take, I'll go there.
There you
I
go.
don't think she's always truthful.
We'll have you back on for my Sister Wives deep dive episode.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I think
I
you're
can
right.
wax poetically about the sister
He's like, "I
wives.
feel confident about one thing, and it's talking about Robin Brown."
100%.
No, but I do think you're right about Robin Young. I do feel like she was kind of like a, like, mouthpiece for environmentalism
Mhm, mhm. And
because
is seemingly the only teenager who works at this, like,
seemingly the
museum/sanctuary.
only
Slash sanctuary.
person who works at this museum slash
Yeah,
sanctuary who is listed as a
yeah.
volunteer, so I don't know who's running this thing.
Who commutes from Berkeley, which is an hour by BART each way from downtown Berkeley to that part of SF. I Google Mapsed it. I did a lot of Google Mapsing this entire book. This entire book, it was very short, not a lot of Google Mapsing. But yeah, I was like, "Girl, you're a teenager. Don't you have, like, grad school to do?" It was a lot. She's got a lot going on, but also clearly not a lot going on in her life.
She's got a lot on
Her
her
new
plate with the
bestie's a 10-year-old
birds.
girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's stressed about this. So Julie brings Robin Young this bird, and she finds out, she's like, "Oh, some is it twitching a lot? Is it, like, tweaking out?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's been tweaking out
Mhm.
since we got it." And she's like, "DDT, dangerous poison." And they're like, "Oh, no, someone poisoned this owl?" They're like, "No, the environment poisoned this owl."
Which I think the funniest thing when they first bring the bird in is she's like, "Ugh, you did really good by keeping it safe and warm." And I was like, "Girl, what? Like, what two random things to say? Like, no, I was gonna keep it cold and like unsafe." Weird aside, poor writing. I have critiques there. So let's keep it going.
No, that's kind of like I'll get to at the end with my kind of general thoughts about this book. But I just said that like Robin takes the bird and says like come back tomorrow and I'll let you know how the bird is doing. And Julie says, "Okay, cool." So Julie leaves, she goes to school, she rides her bike over to the museum the next day and she goes to say, "How's the bird doing?" And Robin's like, "I have no idea actually because I took it to a vet instead." You're like, "You lied to me then. You just lied." She's like, "The poison
And
was
I
too
was
much."
She's like, "Yeah, I actually could not handle this on my own, for I am simply, again, a teenage volunteer who lives across the bay. So yeah, I gave it to like a like licensed professional to take care of a poisoned Asper."
And so Julie's sad. And one thing I did like about this, and maybe I missed it, and you can let me know too, but I don't think we ever find out what happens to this baby owl.
I think it came back once because I was very concerned about the owl. I think in passing much later in the book, she's like, "Oh yeah, the owl's like, okay." Girl, what?
I know, but they're like, yeah, we don't know. Tonight was critical, and I have no updates for you on how that baby's doing. Anyway, do you want to meet some eagles?
And I was like, "Okay, so it's not an eaglet. It was an owlet, and now time for some eagles
Yeah,
of the
so
namesake of the book."
yeah, so we do the classic bait and switch with a child to like distract them from something worse. And Robin takes Julie to meet their eagles. I think it's Shasta Sierra are the two eagles they have in captivity because I think Shasta's wing is broken. And they have two baby eaglets. And we find out that basically their nest was felled, I think, in a recent development in like I think the
Marin County
Marin County. And
or
so
Muir County, it was one of the 2.
I think it's Muir. I think it's like Muir. Well, I think I have it in the next notes for the next chapter, so we can corroborate there. But basically, their nest fell, and I think the eagle got injured when it happened. And so they're trying to rehabilitate these eagles, but they need to. And I didn't know this. If you're going to rehabilitate birds of prey like eagles, you have to build a hack tower, which basically is like, I guess, what essentially is like a fake tree for them, where it's like a big tall tower with like an shelter inside it that they can kind of get acclimated, but also still feel safe enough to like be in the woods again.
It was also just the first point in the book where I was like, "Yeah," I think Julie's like, "Why don't you just let them outside?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's just, like, open the cage and let them outside." And I also learned about the hack tower, had no idea that that was needed. But it costs money to do. You can't just put up a tall thing, you have to get the parks department involved, and it costs a whopping $1,000,
Did you?
which I did the math is like
Yes,
6.6K
I thought it was
in
around. I
our
guessed it
money.
was around 6,000. Like I was
Yeah,
thinking it must be around that much because it felt like it was not crazy, but also not like that easily like feasible to just drop for no reason.
for a child to
For
get that much money.
yeah, for a child to see eagles fly. Um,
Mhm.
and so I did make a note. I said this is all like we talked about how this is happening because of deforestation. And I was like, this is all very PSA a little bit.
After school special, which I was like, "Yeah, this does feel PSA," but I didn't know that they're not all like this then.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
This was like
Okay,
kind of a
great.
wild one, I will say. So I'm excited that you're reading it with me. But Julie is like feeding the adult eagles. And she like makes eye contact with Sierra and she like connects with the natural world. And she's like, you know what? I'm gonna save the eagle. This is gonna be I'm locking in on becoming an eagle environmentalist.
And I think the locking in is really symbolized by the drawing at the end of this chapter of the eagle looking directly at the reader. Uh, you feel very compelled to save them. It's just like this like, that's what the drawing was. It was pretty intense.
Have you ever been close to an eagle before?
I've seen the birds fly at medieval times,
That's
and
true. We both
other
have.
than that, maybe like a zoo experience in school, but I think that's it.
My sister went to Boston College
Mhm.
and their mascot is an eagle. And at her graduation, at the football stadium, they had what you call it? They had their eagle mascot. They have like actually a live eagle, and his name is Challenger.
Mhm.
And they released
Mhm.
Challenger into the stadium for the for the national anthem. And it was supposed to
Yeah.
fly around the stadium like 3 times and then circle back down and like land on its like owner's thing. And it circled and circled and circled and then flew away.
Did it ever come back?
I
You
have
don't
no
you don't have
idea.
the
It just
answers.
you just saw the like bird like wrangler like start to run out of the stadium. And you were at college and
Backing out like, "Ooh, I don't know what to do about
but
this."
it was funny because you could
That
kind of tell it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do because it was like because the person kept doing this like it was like waiting for it to come down and then it wouldn't come closer and then we all just like watched it as it just like, flew out.
Or it's in, "Girl, I'm outta here."
And this was, I don't know if you remember, you probably did, but did you have Yik Yak when you were in college?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I remember the Yik
It was
Yak.
after college, but I do remember the Yik Yak situation.
So this was, like, the year that Yik Yak started when my sister graduated, and everyone was like, "What did we expect for releasing an eagle named Challenger into the air?" I do believe they eventually got Challenger back, but I have, like, I can't, like, validate that.
That was just collegiate PR, that bird is gone. That they replaced it with
They
another
replaced it,
bird,
you think?
called it Challenger, and called it a day. They're like,
It's
"Yeah, and
like,
actually, we got the bird back. It was super cool and fine."
so maybe there is a way to reintroduce eagles into the wild that Julie's team hasn't thought of yet.
Take to a football stadium, let her do some laps, and let her go.
It's like whenever we go to, like, medieval
Oh,
times, I always wonder if the hawk is gonna, like, go rogue. Like, who's gonna stop it, you know?
eat my turkey.
Grab your turkey leg as you're going by. I don't trust those birds.
A small child.
Yeah, just pick up a small dog in the audience.
No.
Pick up
Yeti.
not my Yeti. He just came to see the show.
Yeti, no.
Just But yeah,
Oh.
so Julie connects with the eagle, and she vows that now is her mission to save said eagle, to become a girl for the Eagles, to become Julie and the Eagles. Um, and this is a brief point too that I want to bring back is I have my schedule for all these episodes coming out, and I had the day that this episode comes out on my schedule as Julie and the Eagles, and I forgot what it was, and I was like, "Is this some sort of, like, Eagles cover band?"
Of which Eagles, the band, do play a part later in the story.
Which they had to, honestly. I was like, "You like, yeah, they have to have the Eagles come up at some
The
point."
70s in California, come on, like, we're gonna talk about the band Eagles. Yeah, 100%.
Of course. Then we get to, guys, again, another rapid fire chapter, chapter 3, Endangered. So, Julie has an older sister, Tracy Hairfreak,
Full legal name.
who got her license and apparently healed her relationship with dad in the meantime because dad taught her how to drive.
Off camera, off screen, it happened. You better believe it.
I know, we didn't get it. She's like, "Guess what? Now I can drive anywhere, and I'm going to drive my sister somewhere where she hasn't told me, out of county."
Which is just what older siblings do for younger siblings. They'll just, like, take you anywhere all the time you want, and they'll never complain about that.
The only Actually, I did that to my younger brother once, where one time I picked him up from a friend's house, and I drove him to the Baltimore Aquarium with me. Um, and I just made us have an aquarium day, and he was like, "Okay."
That's fun.
Then my mom was like, "Where'd you guys go?" And I was like, "The Baltimore Aquarium." She goes, "You went to Baltimore?" It's like 2 cities away.
Yeah, but it is, like, the that part of the I don't know if would you call that New England?
No, it's Mid-Atlantic.
In the Mid-Atlantic, and I think you had this exact conversation with Chelsea. In the Mid-Atlantic, like, 2 cities away, girl, that's, like, 20 minutes. Let's
It
be
was 45 minutes, yeah. Yeah, no, this is literally we
okay,
talked about this
okay.
with Baltimore.
Okay, that's what I
She
thought.
said, "So you live in Baltimore." But, no, it was like, yeah, it's a 45, 50-minute drive. It was easy, and it was fun. I don't regret it. But that's my most sisterly, I'm driving this young kid somewhere they don't know.
Yeah. So, Hair Freak does that,
Yeah.
and Julie's like, "Hey, take me to this other county. We're gonna go to a trailer, and we're just gonna walk into this trailer, and it's not the Zodiac killer, I promise." Like, girl, it's still the '70s. Like, what's that man's, like, on the lam, he's still at large, and
Yes.
not great, not safe,
No,
not
I
the
will
best, smartest
say
choices from Julie.
we did talk about this in the last episode of this show where I really understand why all these people disappeared in the 70s, especially children,
Yeah.
especially in California. People are just walking around doing things.
Out and about. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, no, they're
Not
going up to
unsupervised.
they're going to construction sites and knocking on doors in the woods
And it's
with
kinda telling people off. Like,
yeah.
yeah, so she goes in, she knocks on the door, and
And she starts like, the foreman comes up and he's like, "Excuse me, hello, 2 blonde women, 2 blonde children," and they're like, "Can you answer for this eagle, sir?" Like, how first of all, how dare you? Like,
yeah, yeah.
and he's like, He's like, "Listen here, kids. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have like," he said, "we got permits and everything. Like, people have to live here too." And I did think that was kind of an interesting, and they talk about it in the Peak of the Past a little bit too. Like, I understand with people being like, the environments we need to preserve them, but I also understand the argument that's like, okay, but we like, especially in the 70s when like developments are becoming a thing more and they actually are for like demand rather than just like greed, I assume, to a better degree than now. I kind of understand where it's like, well, what, you want people not to have a place to live so these birds can have a place to live? And he also just probably doesn't care that much because this is his job, and these are just, as he calls her, in our first Mad Lib of the 70s, a tree hugger.
And there it is. It's out there. And she said, it is another instance when she does burst in as well, where she does the full like first name, last name. She's like, I'm Julie Albright. I'm not 8. I'm 9, almost 10 years old, and you need to answer for these crimes. And it's like, girl, what? So yeah, he comes back and he's like, girl, people need homes to live in. She's like, I don't have a response to that. I care about these birds. And
And she
he
does get
kind of cares.
and she gets some backup from her older sister who is 3 years older than her and has better science classes under her belt and can kind of speak a little bit more to like, well, this is why it's a problem and this is why it's this. And Julie's like, that's a good point. She's like, Tracy's got some good points here. Um
Some wisdom to be shared.
Yes, and whether this man agrees or is just tired of talking to these children, he placates them by saying, like, "I guess I can talk to our, like, head foreman about donating some, like, used lumber, um, to build this hack tower. I'll let you know." And I'm like,
No
"How will he
promises,
let them
but
know?" Like, they didn't give him any forwarding like, later, spoiler comes back, but they didn't even tell him, like, who they were working with.
he knows that he's a good foreman. A good foreman anticipates the needs of the clients and little girls who bust into his trailer.
And he
So
does know her name, so he can be like, Get me where Julie Albright is volunteering."
yeah, yeah. He called the operator and just get me Julie Albright immediately.
And she's like, "I know that person." Oh, is she friends with Robin Young, perchance?
Yeah, yeah.
So Julie feels good about this, and she's like, "La-di-da, I made a thing happen. I'm gonna go tell my good friend Robin Young, and won't she be so happy to hear?" So Julie, like, drives her sister gets her sister driver back to San Francisco proper, bikes over to the bird sanctuary, and it's like, "Hey, Robin, guess what? I got us some lumber." And Robin's like, "Yay." Bad news, though. One of the baby birds died last night because his parents did not know how to feed
Yeah,
him. And she's like,
yeah, it was sad.
we're like, "Oh, no." And she's like, "Yeah, it's gonna keep happening until we get these birds." Robin, I will say, is, like, putting a lot of pressure on Julie, I think.
She is, and she's also after she delivers the news of the dead baby bird, RIP in peace, she's like, why don't you feed Freckles? Like or like feed the other Freckles. She's like, why don't you feed the other bird? It always cheers you up. And it's like, well, like, why is her emotional? This girl's got too much on her shoulders, but it's like the guilt. It's because she's the only teenager who works at this entire facility.
She's the only person. She's created this facility, and she's running it so far from her dorm
Yeah.
room.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but in order to feed the baby bird, she has to like put on like a glove that looks like an adult bird so that the bird doesn't get used to like humans feeding it. And she like I thought the mechanics of this must be tough.
It's like fish ceviche as well.
Mm, must be good.
Yeah.
Just
No.
take a little bit for yourself. A little for you, a little for me. So she's feeding and this is when she names baby Freckles because she's, like, connecting with the eaglet. It's, like, little gray speckled, and she's like, "I have to make sure that Freckles gets to grow up in the wild and not in a zoo." Like, that would be the worst thing that could happen to Freckles. But time is running out. They don't have that much more time before I guess, before the eagles can't be reintroduced into the wild. And I guess that makes sense. I guess I have trouble with that, and it's just I don't know that much about animals, but it feels like if an animal lived most of its life in the wild and then spent like 2 months in captivity, it feels crazy, and I just mean this as kind of like a general point, not that I disbelieve it, but it feels crazy that that would
Mhm.
erase all the time it had spent living in the wild before that, you know?
its entire lived experience
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean, I know
wild.
it's different
Yeah.
than us, you know, I know that animals aren't the same, like, wild animals aren't the same as humans, but it just feels like I don't know, it feels like the same thing as, like, with, like, dogs sometimes where it's like, you know, like, you can teach your dog to do something and then all of a sudden, like, you don't do it for a little while and it's completely gone and you're like, "But, like, we had
Mhm.
a whole thing going on with so how did you forget just because we
Yeah.
fell out of the routine for, like, 2 days?" You know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
It's just,
Yeah, and it's frustrating.
it's
What the entire situation though, it all in agreement of you kind of finding it hard to believe the entire thing. It's just like, oh, the stakes are high, like they can't live here, and unnamed baby doe bird died now, so now it really matters. And I was like, oh my god, like we killed off a bird. Like, okay, so this really matters. So it's actually we gotta save the birds. But it felt more maybe like a plot device. I don't know, because again, I don't know about bird rehab.
well, this is why we didn't name the baby birds till after one died because it would have been tougher for us as the audience if it was, like, Freckles and Tchotchke, you know?
Named. Oh, Chachki.
Rest in peace, Tchotchke. Our Tchotchke in heaven. Celia's keeping him company.
Chachki.
But
No,
guys, yeah,
you're both up there.
moment of silence. And chapter 4. Earth Day! Yay! We don't have time to linger on dead birds because 'cause we're back in school. Earth Day is coming up, which also is nice because I think Earth Day is coming up, like, a few weeks after this episode airs, so it's like maybe 2 weeks after I think this episode's planned, so I think it'll line up nicely, but they're trying to decide what to do because there's a big, like, Earth Day celebration in Golden Gate Park on the Saturday after Earth Day, and the school is doing, like, fundraising for that, and they can basically choose a charity. And Julie has a perfect one lined up. She's like, I've been working my ass off at this two-person volunteer system at the museum. Me and this
So I know these birds.
so I got this bird thing going
Listen,
on. You guys wouldn't
yeah,
believe it.
got this bird thing going on. It's so much on my shoulders, on this teenager shoulders. We gotta save these
We just
birds.
need some help. We
And
need some relief.
yeah, I just seem like $1,000 and in 1974, like that's just something we as a class can do.
We just need a tiny $1,000. I know your parents are making that in 2 months, but I could really use it. But everyone likes the idea. They're like, okay, yeah, let's save some birds. How can we like raise money? And one person, which I really like this suggestion because I was like, that's funny. It was like, why don't we release a bunch of balloons into the air? For like there, I
Yeah,
think they say there's 30 mating pairs of birds left in California. And so that means there's 60 eagles left in California right now. So she's like a girl in Julie's class that offers like, let's send 60 balloons up into the air. And it's like, great, no environmental problem with that.
yeah, I was like, "Hey, don't do that." But then thankfully the teacher does step in, pops that balloon, and they decide not to do that. And I was like, "That teacher's looking out for them."
Very good. It's like the Chinese lantern thing, you know.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I've done that a little too recently. I knew better.
Just so pretty.
I know.
It's just so beautiful.
Made for a great Instagram.
Look, you know what? If people are dumping oil into the oceans and you fly one Chinese lantern, I'm gonna let you slide a little bit.
Thank you.
But they
Hopefully, the viewers do as well, and will have me back.
Alex canceled.
I get it, I get it.
But, we decided instead to do, balloons to do kites. Um, and luckily Julie's mom owns a, like, haberdashery and is like, "You know what? I even saw some kites with eagles on it, so we can get some kites in, sell them for $5 a pop, fly them up in the air for, Earth Day, and that'll be how we make $1,000. We only have to sell 200 kites. It'll be
It's just
easy."
that simple.
It's just that
It's
simple.
foolproof. Yeah.
And so, Julie asked her mom, and her mom is like, "Sure, I'll donate kites." But it's like, would her mom even donate 200 kites? You know, if her mom only donates 40 kites, then that's only $200. You know, so it's. I think the idea of it is nice. I think in tandem with the balloons and the fact that it's eagles, I think the kite idea is smart and like pretty and cool and like relatively
Mhm.
harmless. Um,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't seem like there's a financial plan in place.
Yeah, and I'm like, if the mom's buying the kites and then there's an upcharge situation, but I'm like, can't her business just donate some of the money? Like, it's $1,000. Like,
Julie's mom is not like really looking to help anyone except for Glad Rags. Glad Rags is her only baby at this point.
yeah, as far as she's concerned, she's like, listen, I got the store, all those other responsibilities from before. That's old Julie's mom's problem.
She's like, "You know what? These kids are grown now. Julie's almost 10. That's like an adult.
Yeah,
This is 1970.
yeah,
What's the conversion
yeah.
rate for adulthood?"
She'll be married soon. Yeah, it's like, oh,
She'll be
yeah.
out of it. It's
So
all good.
so Julie's mom does the most for her, which is not that much, and decides to donate some kites.
Yeah, and Julie goes and tells Robin the idea, and Robin is like, "You know what? I'm just gonna let this kid run this thing from now on. She's doing everything. I'm just standing here watching birds die." And Julie's like making moves, finding lumber, finding funding. She is going about it. And so Robin says she likes the idea and she can set up a like info station at the park and like work with the school and talk to people about the birds. And she's really excited about it. And the next morning, as she's heading out to the celebration, she sees Hank, of all people, guys. Hank is back, and he's planting a tree outside Mom's house just because.
I guess they don't want the readers to forget that Hank exists for broader storylines down the line. Yeah, it was an odd cameo.
He keeps popping up in ways that it's like and he's always doing things for Julie's mom in ways that just make me a little suspicious.
Oh, he's doing things for Julie's mom.
He's just like he's like a homeless vet who is just, like, hanging around and is like, oh, he's like a he reminds me of what the characters in, like, sitcoms in the '90s who are just, like, always there, who, like, come through the back door,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, the lived experience of strangers walking into the back door of our home regularly, and
Yeah,
that's welcome.
just a guy
That's
who's
Hank in this storyline.
if you saw someone, like, who is a neighbor of yours, like, constantly, like, wouldn't you be like, what is happening now?" Like, if someone who lived, like, 2 doors down from you was, like, always outside doing something or, like, at the shop that you were, like, he in the same sandwich shop where we got sandwiches, like, in the coffee shop with you, wouldn't you be like, "What is going on here?"
I'm being followed. I don't like this. This is now unsafe. But see, this is how I didn't get serial killed in the 70s, like 80s. Like, yeah, we've learned. We've learned since then. Like, that's
We've learned to be
suspicious. That's
suspicious of people who
weird.
are always around.
Yeah. Like always around. Yeah. Love community, love third spaces, but like barriers. I think that's fair.
Distance. Julie doesn't know about that. She's excited to see Hank. She tells him she's going to the park. She does her thing. They end up going, and selling kites and rizzing up the crowd with the eagles, and the old lady who Julie met with the butterfly is also there again because she loves environmental stuff, and Julie talks to her this was, like, some kind of poor writing, I will be like, it's like, within a few minutes, Julie was talking to her like they were old friends, and I'm like, "Well, why don't you show us? Why don't you show us this instead of telling us that the conversation started flowing nicely?" Um but basically, this woman is interested in the Eagles, and she talks to Robin, she talks to Julie. And then we get a news reporter comes by, and his name is what's his name? It's
Joe
uh
Smiley.
Joe Smiley.
Not a fake name at all. Of which old lady straw hat does get a name. It's Miss Woodacre. Mrs. Woodacre. And I think it's a Mrs. Some I can't remember her
I
first name.
know.
She gives it because of course it's this book.
Okay, but the thing
Um,
is, and actually this is a larger complaint with the Julie books kind of, is like everyone's name is like too on the nose. Like in the
yeah.
first book, the basketball coach who's like a misogynist is named Coach Manley.
And the nature woman who owns a ranch and all this stuff, Woodacre,
Would
it's like,
they
all right.
like, come
Yeah,
on.
great. Perfect.
What came first, the ranch or the last name, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But, and yeah, Joe Smiley is, and I mean, I that's the one I will let go because maybe that's just a stage name, you know? Um
Sure, fair.
And he's interviewing all the different booths, and he interviews Julie and Robin about the Eagles, and they're all really excited, and then on the news that night, they cut out Julie's interview. I thought was really fun.
Cut for time, cut for time, cut for time.
Yeah, they talk to Robin, and then they, like, flash to Julie, like and her whole family is so excited. I'm like, "That is
'Cause
actually"
she gathered them all to watch.
yeah.
It's like when you're on the news, you're like, "Hey, everyone, 4 o'clock. tune in, channel 5, 4 o'clock, tune in. And then, yeah, she's just flashed for like a blip. And it's like, ooh,
But they're all excited about it.
I'm
They're
into
like, "You're famous." Were you ever on the news?
yes, going down a slide at some festival or fair or something like that. So there's that. I was kid B sliding down slide, but it was like heavily silhouetted, so like you couldn't really even tell it was us. But I sure was on the news. What about you? Were you on
My
the
no,
news?
I've never been on the news. I was in a newspaper
Okay.
article once as, like, one of the biggest, Harry Potter fans in my town.
Ooh, in a
And
town of 12.
and they really, like, made me seem like such a like, a fucking nerd. If you can believe.
Well,
Oh,
weren't we all nerds as children though?
I know. I was misquoted. Like,
You need to get the same PR as the butterfly people.
I
Get them on
know.
the line. Let's like rework some of this damage.
And my parents are like, "Look at that. Like, look at that, you're on the news." So everyone loves when people are on the news.
Oh, for sure.
And Julie's dad even calls, makes a brief appearance to be like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be anywhere around you for the recent future, but I saw you on the news. The only time I'm gonna," he's like, "That counts as a visit, right?"
Yeah, yeah. And then the chapter ends though, but yeah, not before dad like inserts himself into the life enough to not feel guilty about being a poor dad.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
a bad father.
but you know what? Julie, like, this whole time, she, like, doesn't even care about the fame or the absentee parent. She
Mm.
just cares about the Eagles. Her goal is
It's them
Eagle.
birds.
She is locked in on
Yeah.
Eagle, you know? And she's like, "We gotta
Eagles
find
number
out
one.
how much we did. We do it? Did we do it? No, they didn't."
Earth Day, let's count the money.
Chapter 5.
Yeah.
This one was so short and nothing happened in it.
Laughably short.
It was like 2 pages. Um, it's like chapter 5, trying to fly. So, hilariously, they didn't even raise, like, half the amount of money they needed for this.
No.
They raised, like
It's like a third.
They raised, like, $368. They sold, like I said, they sold, like, 30 kites, and then some people just donated money on top of that. And Robin's like, "No, like, we can't build it. We can't even start building with, like, this little amount of money." Julie's like, "I didn't realize this was gonna be so hard. Jesus Christ." And so it seems like it's not gonna happen, but we can't have that happen in an American Girl book. So, Mrs. Woodacre randomly pops up to check out the birds. So Julie shows her the birds, and then she says, "Oh, you know what? I wanted to buy a kite for my grandson. Do you have any left over?" And Julie hands her a kite, and she says they're $5. And so then Miss Woodacre writes her a check, and they hand it over, and they go, "Huh, this has a few extra zeros behind it. It's $500."
She can't, yeah, which I'm like, "Ms. Woodacre, you own a ranch, you've got the money, you know they're short 500, like, just write the rest of the
Just
check.
finish it. Just finish
Just
the
write the
check.
rest of the check. Come on,
Just do
girl.
it.
Come
Yeah,
on, like, let's get
just
let's
because
get
of
these
love.
birds saved." She's like, a little bit. Here's a little bit. Here's almost, but not all of it." So,
Maybe she's being vindictive
Deus
against
Ex
her
Machina,
husband,
though. Yeah.
Mr.
Ooh,
Woodacre.
Mr. Woodacre, and he hates that he gives the money away, but yeah, I
Maybe
don't know.
Mr. Woodacre owns the development.
I believe that.
I think that's what's happening.
It was part of the ranch that they sold off to get money, and then they wouldn't get money back from doing the real estate deals and development. It's all a scheme.
It is.
It's in the next book, actually.
Yeah,
I don't
it is, guys. Don't worry about it. But,
know
yeah, so basically now they have, like, 800. They're only, like, 100 or $200 short, and so now Robin is kinda like, "You know what? I think we can actually, like, if we have this much, we can get started, I think, or we can at least, like, tell them that we have, like, we can basically put the down payment on this thing." So make a few calls. But before she can even make a call, they get another call from who is it? Mr. Foreman, who, like we said, used the operator system to find Julie's volunteership and is able to donate all the extra lumber. And so with that, they don't need to buy the lumber. They just need to do everything else. And so without doing anything, they win.
And actually, the challenges that we just told you about don't exist, don't matter. Like, why didn't they just sell that many kites? It's like, they needed more pages, and even though the chapter was
That's kind of the thing.
laughably 2 seconds long. Like, we've been speaking about this chapter longer than the chapter was.
Well, that's the thing that was kind of weird about this chapter was that it is kind of like it is Deus Ex Machina, where it is kind of like, "Oh, here's the problem. Oh, wait, no, it's not a problem. It's all good now." And so I don't know why we didn't just have like even a montage of like Julie raising more money or coming up with something else or like
Mm.
I don't know why we didn't extend it so right like in chapter 4, they count at the end, they realize they don't have enough. And, like and they have,
Mhm.
like I don't know, I would even preferred if Julie, like, went to Mrs. Woodacre and kind of pitched it, you know? It feels just a little bit like, "Oh, we have to solve this problem that we just created in 2 seconds
And it
now."
simply is solved now.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a weird throwaway chapter that I think was I think you're right, I think there was a page amount that they had to get in, and
Mhm.
this this solved that. Because guys,
Yeah.
we're on to chapter 6, Happy Birthday, comma, Julie. So Julie writes birthday invitations to her mom, her dad, her sister, TJ, Ivy, Miss Woodacre, and Robin, and that's it. And that made me very sad.
Yeah, 10-year-old girl, 7 friends, how many wa yeah, it's not
Not
great.
even
And
friends.
most of them are adults
Yes.
or, like, volunteers from this, like, that she made a month ago, like, volunteer friends she met a month ago.
She's 2 friends coming to her birthday party.
Not great. Not great.
But she's going to watch the Eagles. Her what she wants to do for her birthday is go to the beach where the Eagles hack tower is built and watch them fly. And so they basically she invites everyone. They've built the hack tower. It's like the day they're releasing the Eagles. It's right on her birthday. It's perfect timing. So she gets everyone. Dad even comes and picks up the whole family. They make a picnic.
Insert Eagles moment crossing the Golden
Yes.
Gate Bridge, they listen to the band Eagles,
What song do you think
which
they
is
listen to?
beautiful. Oh, I just read it. What song was it?
I don't think they say.
No. No, they do. There's lyrics in there.
Is there?
Yeah, it's like "Take It to the Limit" or
Oh, I think you're right.
was it "Take It to the Limit"?
I was picturing Take It Easy,
It
but
wasn't
may have
"Life in the
skimmed
Fast
that
Lane."
part. Take it is that
Mm,
Eagles? Take it
yeah.
easy. Okay.
Oh, was it "Take It Easy"? It was "Take It Easy" or "Take It to the Limit."
I
Less
think it was
important
Take It to the Limit, honestly, because, I
because
don't
Julie takes it to the limit.
because she's taking everything to she was constantly taking everything to the limit. So, they're having a nice family divorcee moment, and, like, they're all going to the beach. Oh, this is where the beach it's Muir Beach in Marion County is what we were, like, mixing up. So they're
Mhm,
at Muir
mhm.
Beach. Everyone comes. They're gonna have a good time. Dad gives Julie a gift of binoculars so she can like eagle eye the eagles,
And
and
all 7 people are sharing 1 pair of binoculars, which is super
which is a
fun.
really fun
Yeah.
birthday party.
Yeah. In the cold waters of, like, a spring Pacific, like,
55
that had to be
degrees,
miserable. Yeah.
misty on the beach.
Cold water, rough waves, like, no I'm sure there's a bunch of surfers, like, probably smoking pot, nobody likes this, it's a 10-year-old's birthday, like, what's happening?
This would be one of those things where I'd be like, "How long do we have to stay?"
Yeah, yeah, of which Julie kinda makes them stay a little bit longer because,
Yes. Yeah, because
they're opening up a hack tower.
yeah, and Robin says that there's a very big chance the Eagles won't even fly that day. And so if I were this was things where I think when you have kids, you just are patient, but I'd be like, "All right, honey, we're putting a time limit on this event. If the Eagles don't fly by 6:30, we're out. We got
Yeah, shut it
pizza
down.
reservations."
Yeah.
So they are waiting, they're waiting, they're waiting, and then all of a sudden, Shasta and Sierra like peek their little heads out, and everyone's like, "Ah." So they're all looking, and then they take a little, like, test little whoop, and they fly, and they're like, "Alright, things seem to be going well." And then they do another little whoop, it seems like things are going well. And they take a little further one out, and then, they're flying, but then, like, Shasta, like
Sh Shasta's not doing so well. Shasta is the bird who had the broken wing. Sierra, the woman, you can tell because 'cause they're bigger, learns that, soaring, thriving, but the man, stinky, gross, disgusting, takes a tumble and is, like, spiraling, and they're like, "They were shocked. He kept falling. They were really worried. He kept falling." And I was like, "Is this bird just gonna, like, die?"
he's, like, plummeting to the earth. They're, like, watching him, like, free fall for, like, 50 feet, and then, like, finally, like, last second before he smacks into the ground, like, a gust of wind, like, helps him, like, rewrite himself, I guess, and, like, re-glide, and so then he catches himself and he flies off, And so then he meets back up with Sierra in the sky, and they're flying around, and, Freckles even pops his little head out to, like, watch his parents fly, and Julie's watching them with her binoculars, and she's like, "Wow, look at that," and everyone is overjoyed, oohing and aahing, and Julie feels accomplished, and the book ends.
And that's actually it.
And that's
And
actually
that's
all
the
they
whole
wrote.
thing.
And so then, and sometimes the books do it. This I will say this is not the only book that's guilty of that. Sometimes they end so abruptly that you're like, "Did I miss 2 chapters?" It's like, Kirsten had fun, and it's like, peek into the past, and you're like, "Hey, I thought we'd at least, like, get, like, some what happened to that thing? What happened to the baby owl?" You know?
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think we got one for all the listeners who are concerned. We got one quick line that was like, "And the baby owl was fine."
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, get off my back. I feel like an editor, it was like someone like me, I'm like, "Okay, what happened to the owl?" And, like, forced the writer to insert that. But as a reader and an audience member, I'm glad we had it.
But I'll ask you a question. How do we
Shoot.
reintroduce the baby owl into the wild now?
You know, there's a night tower. It's a two-tower situation. They were at the day tower. There needs to be a spooky night tower in the redwood forest, full moon, and something with mice, and it's very ritualistic. That's how I would do it, at
That's the
least.
next book, Julie and the Owl. But we get a peek into the past, which is all the books have these, Alex, where they have little like history, like addendums, kind of that give you a little bit more like of an actual historical context to what you read about. So we learn about how pollution was rampant in the 70s, and people were starting to realize that we couldn't just like slap a national park down and make that the only area that we like maintained and cared about. Like, turns out this
Have
whole
you
planet
seen
is like functioning.
Yeah, it's all, like, kinda connected, and that place where we get our drinking water, like, we should keep that clean or
We
something.
should probably keep this whole thing a little bit tidier.
Have you seen the footage of it's either the lake or just the river, right? And I think it's both, but, like, the water around Cleveland in the 1960s, 70s, where it was literally, like, burnt orange, and then they, like, passed all these laws, and now it's, like, beautiful water, but, like, it was orange,
Yeah.
and in the 60s and 70s, I'm like, "Yeah, that's not good. Water should not be
It's
orange."
crazy that people were just, like, okay with that for, like, by and large.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and, the last book we read before this was, like, the Kaya series, which is about, a Nez Perce, Native American girl in the 1750s, I think, or 1760s, and it's just kind of like it's a and that's, like, a Pacific, Northwestern tribe, so it is just kinda sad to
Mhm.
see that this is what happened to that area after
Yeah.
the colonialism took over. But, they kinda talk about how, like, around the '70s was a really big time that they started putting in more laws about conservation and kind of, like, environmental protection, and this did remind me of I don't know if you've ever watched Mad Men, Alex, question
Mhm.
mark? Okay. So I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
the most shocking scene I've ever seen in a TV show is there's an episode in Mad Men, which is a show that takes place in the '50s and '60s, where, Betty and Don and their kids are having a picnic on a road trip, and they're, like, eating McDonald's, and they have, like, a picnic blanket laid out and all this, like, McDonald's trash, and then they get up to go, and Betty just picks up the picnic blanket and, like, shoos it off, and then there's trash everywhere, and they just walk.
Betty, no, you
And
can't
that
do that.
it's, like, literally I'll send it to you. It's, like, literally the most shocking scene I've seen it. I remember watching it and being like, "What?"
Betty, pick that up.
And it's just
Sally,
crazy that
get back there and pick up that trash.
just crazy that people were, like, doing that. They're like, "Oh, time to go." Like, if
Yeah.
I see someone litter, I'm like, "You're trash." Like,
Oh, I called him out, I'm pointing, there's, like, a showmanship of, like, picking it up, and yeah, no. No, if I can shame someone for littering, I absolutely will.
well, actually, fun fact, in the same park we talked about at the beginning of the episode in, Edinburgh that used to
Mhm,
be a plague lake, I was walking, I was finished a run and I was, like, doing a cool down walk, and there were these 2 girls in front of me, one of them was holding a coffee cup, and she finished it and she just put it down on the ground, and I went and I picked it up, and I walked up to her and I said, "Hey, you dropped this, there's a trash can at the end of the park." And she was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Come on, this is a beautiful park, what are you doing? Like, just leaving a, like,
yeah, don't
coffee
do that.
cup, like, who are you?" Like,
Well, good on you for shaming her. I
I
feel
know
like Julie Albright would be very proud, and
Julie
I am
Albert
too.
would be very proud, and, yeah, so we get, like, a little bit more about, like, the DDT, this is where we find out what Alex and I were referencing, where basically DDT would put on plants and it would kill the bugs, but then the birds would eat the bugs. And it was so strong that it would poison the birds through the bugs, and then it kept going up the food chain, and like the birds and the bees and the coconut
Yeah,
trees.
and, like, pretty horrifically too, like, in the book, it was talking about how DDT would make, like, deformities with the birds and, like, deficiencies, and the shells that the birds would lay would be so thin that when they would sit on them to, like, nest them that they'd crack, and it was very sad. So, no DDT, that's bad, I learned, and we shouldn't. So, yeah, no.
And then it talks about how, like, a lot of the conservation efforts were, like, big movements, but it was also complicated because then it was, like, taking jobs away from, like, millers and things like that and, like, lumberjacks and kind of, like, people were kind of crossed on the issue because it's like, "Okay, yeah, we understand saving the environment, but, like, how am I supposed to, like this is my job to, like, lumber," you know? And
Yeah.
so much like everything, there's no right answer. I think the real answer is policies that benefit everyone and make sure that like we are protecting the environment and also protecting people's jobs and work and whatever is the kind of best compromise for those things, which we still haven't figured out to this day.
No, no, unfortunately not.
And we get
We're gonna have orange rivers again soon.
I know. Yeah, that's not looking great with this current administration, for the rivers and the people and the animals.
We went there.
We get a little bit of Julie Butterfly and how she saved the redwoods by camping up in a tree for 2 years, and I kind of knew this, but I didn't realize she didn't come down for 2 years, which is crazy.
Those vertical tents and vertical camping and all, I'm too afraid of heights, I cannot, but good for her. I mean, save the redwoods, obviously.
I could never sleep in a tree, like, in one of those, like, kinda, like, basically, like, what's it called? Stretchers, kind of.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'd be I don't even roll around in my sleep, but I'd be too worried that I would, like, roll around and die.
Yeah, yeah, which
So where do you
I feel like
pee?
even lofted beds in college, I'm like, spooky, scary. Easier for me to pee, not as easy for you.
No,
Yeah, I guess she figured it
just
out.
free fall?
Get a little something like that. Oh,
It's
sounds
tough.
awful.
But, some
Yeah.
people really love the environment, and I love the environment a lot, but not that much, I will say.
Not enough to spend 2 years in a tree?
No, not enough to spend 2 years in a tree.
Wow. Wow.
It's tough.
I am judging because
Um,
I would not either. So,
but what we do learn is that we need the environment. We need to save the environment, and I agree with that.
PSA,
I
after school special.
Yeah, well, I also I always think about how sad it is that, like and I mean, the part of it is just we talked about this, in Kaya a little bit too, like there is, like, a tough, like, bridge between, like, it would be so nice if everything was, like, crystal clear blue and, like, perfect and everything, but we do have industrial industries and stuff like that that, like, do prevent that, but I do think there is a lot that we could be doing better. I don't think we can have, like, a perfect, beautiful, like, everything is going, like, as it would be without human intervention, but I do think there's a better balance that we could be even with, like, solar and wind, like, I think there are things that we could be utilizing better that we're not, and I do hope that, over time we get better.
Let's do this. Let's get this figured out. But honestly, like, yeah, I don't know, it's pressing. It's depressing to think about the environment. It's hard not to get hopeless, but you can't. You gotta keep doing what you're doing, like, shaming people for littering and putting cups back in the snooty people's hands who think that they can leave them in parks because that's not right.
Well, and it is, and I think kind of the message of this book a little bit, and we can get into final thoughts in a second, is like you might not be able to like solve everything, but like by doing your little part, you can like I don't know. I think it is like the idea that like you might be like I don't know, maybe one of those things where it's like, well, what does it matter if I tell one person to stop littering? But then it's like, or what does it matter if I raise money for one like hack tower in Julie's case? But like if someone sees you do that and they're inspired by it, then they'll do something little and that might like it's a like domino effect. It's
Mhm,
like if you just
mhm.
see everyone litter as opposed to everyone pick things up, then you're like, well, if everyone else is littering, then I can litter. It's kind of just like
Yeah.
positing it as like a more positive thing. So I think it's like a very nice message. And like, I do hope people like, and I do think it's good for like kids, which is who this book's based for, to like kind of learn that they can like do things like, it's not just for adults to raise money or teenagers who have too big of a job for their pay grade. They can
Mhm.
also become volunteers. And that
Yeah.
kind of just will lead into my like quick final thoughts on this book is Alex, you have the honor of having the weirdest American Girl doll book I've ever read.
Thank you for recommending this to me to read.
This
Had a
was
lot of
like
fun.
quite a PSA. Like I said, you are right where it did feel like especially characters like Robin were just kind of like Wikipedia pieces for like, did you know this
Yeah.
environmental fact? Did you know about this? Did you hear
Mhm,
about this? And it didn't really like every other book we've had so far has focused on the fact that Julie is a child of divorce and that like that's something
mhm.
she's struggling with. This didn't reference it like at all really. Um
It was explicitly from the POV of a divorced, like, child of divorce, given
she's over
that
it, yeah.
dad calls once,
Yeah.
gives her
Yeah.
binoculars. But, they had a beautiful moment on the bridge, so there's that.
Yeah, but it just like I thought it was fun, but I remember like even reading the first chapter as someone who's read these books exhaustively now, I was like, this is
Mhm.
written differently. Like this is like a little off. Like something I was like, this feels
Uh-huh.
too quick. It feels like quick. It feels like basically like I honestly kind of feel like they had a different book planned. And then last minute they're like,
Mhm.
actually, like American Girl Pleasance Company wants us to address like environmental stuff for the 70s. Can you like rewrite this? Like you can only do like it just felt like I had fun reading
A
it. I had
spring
fun.
fever dream.
Yes, it just was like a little bit
Yeah.
like too on the nose about environmental stuff and too focused on it, and then like not enough like it was like we didn't even see any of Julie's friends or other characters besides Julie and Robin. And
Mhm.
usually like it's like Ivy will be in it, or TJ will be in it, or Tracy or mom or dad, and they were all just like thoughts kind of. So it was just kind of a weirder
Mhm.
book, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. It helped me as a reader who has not read the others. Yes, I'm familiar with the Julie situation,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was all brand new characters with other people being thoughts. I think that was
Mhm.
a good way to put it.
But what did you think of your first American Girl doll book that you've read?
It was good. It was enjoyable. I actually enjoyed it more than I kind of thought. I was like, "This is" it was enjoyable. I'll leave it there.
You know what's funny is everyone says that.
Wow. Okay, no original thoughts here.
Every single person's like, "You know what? I enjoyed it more than I thought." I'm like, "Yeah, they're not, like, bad books." Like, they're just kids'
Yeah,
books.
yeah. No, it's good, and honestly, the storyline, it got me. I was hooked. I felt engaged in the story. The animals, I was, "Oh, yeah, no, we saved them. Felt great, felt good." The animals felt good, felt great, we saved them, it was good. My ring light just, like, collapsed a little bit, it's fine.
It's okay. You still look beautiful. Um,
Oh, great.
Guys, you know the drill at this point. If you like this episode, if you like to save the environment, then share this with a teenager you know who's volunteering at a job that's above her pay grade.
Share this with your favorite Eagles fan.
Share this with an old woman who has a lot of money.
Share this with someone who's got the spring fever.
Share this with your friend who bought you a snow cone once.
Share this with your older sister who will drive you across county.
And guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, join our environmental movement. Help us build a hack tower anywhere in the world. We'll raise $1,000 for it. We'll raise the 1970s amount.
Yeah,
But
with kites, not balloons.
no, we won't do balloons. But guys, yeah, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this episode. I probably should mention this at the beginning, but we're doing memberships now. Ugh. But all that means is if you join the lowest tier, which YouTube made me create 3 tiers, but the one that I'm using right now is the lowest tier. You just get episodes early when I upload them. So if you like love American Girl Talk and you need it as soon as I like edit it, then it'll be up there. But you don't have to because I appreciate you no matter what. And Alex, thank you for coming on for your first episode.
Very happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I enjoyed it. Looking forward to reading more.
Yeah, of course. And like guys, we'll see you next time. And until then, goodbye.